Wow, folks, that took a long time. We were having brain freeze central over there. The ever lovely Miss Katie is on the other side, and she keeps giving me digital reminders of my love, or her love for me. We are on 3, so that makes it a holy number. All right, folks, been a while because it's been a while. let's just go with that. But we have commentary for a new game. Now, what game is that? And she'll tell me if you can see the whole game. Yay, Dune! And we'll talk a little bit here about it, but are you stunned? Are you stunned that I have this game? Because, well, we have the book. And we did read Dune and the second book, because the third wasn't out yet. Dune Messiah. We got these when we were at the University of London when I had a lot more hair. I had longer hair, and if you can believe this, it was before I was in the army. I didn't know there was much I ever did before the army, but that's a different story. But this isn't what you would expect from me. I don't think. It's, you know, it's like with our historical readings, at times you say, I need to get out of my safe zone. Well, I have no safe zones. I have cats. I have 2 dogs. Maybe we're going to be getting 2 more puppies. So I have no safe zones. Because if you can walk to our house once through the day without having somebody underfoot or under paw, you're doing pretty good. So there's no real safe zones here. Now, let me tell you this. This is a heavy box. Miss Katie thought so too. And you notice, there are 2 sides. There's the House Atreides side and the House Harkonnen side. And if you turn it around, how about that? You go the other side up top and the other side down. Yeah, something like that. So, and they did this spiffy artwork so that Dune looks the same either way. What is it? What's the word that's the same forward and backward? I can't remember.
I don't know right now.
But dog spells God and God spells dog. So
right.
But the thing you gotta ask here, because it's this big heavy box and it's eye-catching art, but it's wrong, isn't it? It's wrong. Or is it? Or is it wrong? Well, you see these guys with guns. Well, that's wrong. Well, no, it's not. Because in areas where you aren't using shields in the whole Dune story, you could use guns, more likely in the desert. And in Dune Messiah, isn't it handy we have the book right there? And in Dune Messiah, his guards have laser guns. So, not necessarily wrong, and in fact, it's more right than not. What I do have to wonder about here, these beefy guys who have skin exposed that part doesn't make sense, but the rest does. And I know there are folks who go, well, these guys should have their heads covered. Well, they probably should have their heads covered. But when you also read too, these guys aren't all completely in swaddling clothes, because then you can't move and maneuver. So for me, eye-catching, got a big honking worm mouth that's open, all works. Okay. We're actually opening this. We only opened it yesterday. This, ta-da! Okay, box top off to the side. We've already had cats in it. The only cheap components in the game are these. These are cheap. Come on, why not on heavier cardstock or something? These are kind of flimsy for what you would expect based upon everything else you're going to see. These guys are flimsy. I mean, they work all right. Don't get me wrong. You got your various cards. You got your House of Atreides. You got your Fedaykin. All works, but now we're probably going to have one of these fall out because of the atomics. These are nice. These are nice. Miss Katie's over there giving me the raised eyebrow, so you know those are nice. Those are the tokens. There are 80 tokens in the game. Then is the map. I'm going to show you one section. So mount a map board. Ta-da! And of course, you got the shield wall here, but that's... So you mainly, of course, it's desert. Mountains, plateaus, and then deep desert out further, and then you have air zones. Okay, all works for me. But there are two maps, and we'll be looking at those in greater detail. There's two maps now. Okay, this is when I opened the box with this and said, "Wow, this looks like an appliance." Can they see this from their touch?
Yes.
Okay, this looks like an appliance, and I'm going, what in God's name is this? Never had a game that had something like this. So I said, well, you know, and I'm going. So this is only the second time I've done this. And I said, wow, what is this? And I said, look at the bottom of the box for the tray guide. What does that mean? Well, it means this. Ta-da! Holy ye gods.
Oh my God.
Yeah, did you hear that? Say it again, Miss Katie.
Oh my God.
Yeah, how about that? We have dice. 24 battle dice.
We've got little green men.
We have little green men, not to be confused with Martians. We have cards that I haven't opened yet, and in fact, we can open cards right now because I have my handy dandy X-Acto knife.
Looks like a scalpel.
Well, I probably used it on an animal around here too.
Well, don't say that.
I might have. I mean, to go ahead and you know, get a clump of fur or something off easier than...
True.
But one set of cards, the Atreides cards, and who do I see first? Well, Paul Moody. So you have cards. Let's see what I think about the cards, because I couldn't give you a summation or couldn't give you a pre-answer. Okay. Good enough. There's Paul, and when he's Atreides, and there's when he Muad'Dib. Ta-da! There's his hot mama, the Lady Jessica, and here she is in Reverend Mother garb, not looking so lovely, and Stilgar, and his wife, who is more buffed up than I thought would be, Channing, and Gurney Halleck, who looks like exactly from the movie. Coincidental? Oh, I don't know. But Gurney Halleck kind of looks like what I thought Gurney Halleck would look like. So, but some of the figures. The Atreides figures. The bad people. Well, it depends on which side you're playing. And then harvesters, ornithopters, and these come and pick up your harvesters and your worms and your big honkin' worm, the mother of all type worms. So I don't know about you, and what's really neat here, let me show you this, folks, before I throw stuff all over the place. You got the worms right here, And you notice on this one, it's an empty spot. So you can go ahead and they marry up. Miss Katie has an astounded and amused look on her face. But let me show you how nice these figures look. I'm going to kind of come towards the camera and step out of the picture for a moment. And Miss Katie will let me know if that's a good shot. Okay, that's Channy. That's somebody. That's a regular soldier. Lady Jessica. Good?
Good enough.
Okay, give me a thumb there, little miss.
Good enough.
And somebody else.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so we got some there, and let's get worms. Let us do me some worms here, folks. Worms and harvesters and other things. All right. So we've got, Miss Katie's going to give me the look again. Worms.
Oh, that's creepy.
Is it a good shot, Toots?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You give me the little thumb.
It is still creepy.
Okay. Your ornithopter.
Yeah.
Okay. Your spice harvester.
Yeah.
All right. And what picks up the spice harvester? Comes right in here. Doesn't really fit
I was
well.
going to say they're like Legos.
Kind of like Legos. I guess it's more to represent that it comes in and fits because you can see they don't really fit. So I guess it's more to represent in terms of game. But so there you have it, folks. We're doing this kind of fast and dirty. Because let me tell you, there is so much to this game. From what I can see right off, I would be hard pressed to tell you more. Big, well-molded figures. Can't fuss at all about that. 4 types of terrain on the map board. There's, like I said, mountain plateau, minor desert, deep desert. You have your air zones. Winning, well, winning you get, it depends upon which side you're playing, of course. You get to the, let me find you the pre-signs, I guess it's actually presence track, but I call it pre-signs because I'm just a poor country boy and I can't read that well. But the important thing for House Harkin is the spice must flow. And as you read later in the Dune book, when they go ahead and they start interdicting the spice from the desert and the Emperor and the Space Guild get upset, this card matters. And when you see later, this keeps House Harkin from doing things if the spice has been interdicted. The intertwined elements from the book here, leaders, the ecological settlements, the Bene Gesserit, the sisterhood, all interplay neatly in this. And if you think of the settlements, which get very little play in Dune, I think, the settlements are more like replacement and mobilization centers here, because you don't really hear about them. You hear about the sitches, but you don't hear about settlements. Like in regular war games, there are leaders that have special abilities both for combat and other abilities. So, and also like a regular war game, they have stacking limits. Stacking limits is 6 units per area. This is an area game. So, the game is played in rounds. It would seem to kind of just go on until somebody wins or loses. And it's very simple. You place the equals. Well, that's okay. Because spice doesn't flow, you don't get certain kind of things done. Action resolution is where combat and movement happens. Okay, just different terminology. For House Atreides, to make up for the lack of as many dice, because everybody gets, I have it here somewhere in my notes. Let me look at my note because it was a thing about dice here for me that you roll 4 action dice. Well, you may roll more depending upon what you do. For combat, depending upon how many units you have. The desert power function in this game, or element, is the asymmetrical part for House Atreides. That you go ahead, you can either get worms or storms to do positive things for you, because storms will knock people out. And of course, in spice harvesting. So spice harvesting is elemental, I like that, elemental to the game. If your production starts going south, you're gonna lose. Movement is not necessarily complex from what I can tell, but will be impacted by card play, worms, and troop transport. And in terms of technology, Paul doesn't have any. Paul doesn't really have any technology until they perhaps get House Atreides House Atomics back. Combat was standard. Your figures roll against each other. You had impact of leaders. If you want to add a card for various other elements. Your better folks will reduce the number of hits you get. And what I found interesting, very interesting, is that for attackers, if you want to do a second round, okay, Miss Katie and I are rolling against each other, nobody wins. Do I want to break contact or not? I choose not to break contact. I have to automatically take a hit right off in order to stay in the zone. So, I found that pretty interesting. The card phase and the pre-science, because there are 3 areas that House Atreides must meet. For them to meet that, that happens at the end. And I think of it, those 3 sections, as you are either working towards the prophecy, or, as I think it was Yates said, you're slouching towards Bethlehem. So which are you doing? I don't know. Great components. Looks like it flows well. Great examples abound through the book, but I can tell you this. I am going to need the rule book by my hand to play this game, because the rule book is, I think, this many pages. 10, 20, 30, 40, either 45, 47, or 48 pages. It's a long rule book. And it's not broken up in any numeric fashion. So, but it's a pretty detailed one. It's well written, no PC language, and pretty self-explanatory. The only thing you might have a question about is imperial bands. And you may have a problem with that because it's a little, that may be the only area that's a little Weasley. But otherwise, looks pretty good, folks. We'll be getting to that one right now. We're working on another game with Mr. Bomba, Battle of the Bulge for World War II campaigns. We're doing a scenario on that. So, and as always, you can't see her, but we're going to ask what happens next. What does she say?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, folks. Her voice is much more melodic than mine. Thanks, folks. Get your hand up there to get ready to turn it off, miss. Thanks. Bye.